This is Pete Feenstra on Friday the 7th of September 2012. On behalf of GetReadyToRock.com, talking to the one and only Glenn Hughes on my left. Great to have you here, Glenn. We're here to talk about the brand new, the third Black Country Communion album. And an album of real depth, power, a lot of songs that you've written, of course.
Yeah.
Unlike the previous two, I think you've taken 6 months out to write this.
You know, it came together pretty quick. I wasn't really given a time schedule, as we hadn't really set a recording date, but I had started to write last November.
Oh, yeah.
Having been off the road for a month, that's all I do is write anyway. It's not like I sit around and that's what I do as a hobby. I write songs. It's what I love to do. It's probably the biggest joy outside of singing is writing and singing and writing.
So how do you differentiate between stuff for your solo career and stuff for BCC?
Well, I was just telling Pete this morning that initially this album, that Black Country, was going to be a Glenn Hughes album. So there are some songs on this album that was going to be on the Glenn album.
And which ones are they?
Afterglow, The Giver,
all the good ones.
Circle and Dandelion. Yeah, I mean, you know, Kevin had not heard these songs, but he convinced me that we should do, before I do another project, which I am going to start doing now, I'll do another Black Country album. So, you know, as I said in the Facebook and Twitter the last 6 months, the trilogy is complete, and I don't want to freak people out, but I like to make albums in threes. I mean,
oh really?
I look at everything.
Essentially.
Yeah, everything's a trilogy to me.
So where did Jason's input come into this then? Because he's heavily involved in it.
He did. We weren't sure the songs, but he had dinner with me in LA in February, and he sang me a cappella the idea of Common Man, which I thought was brilliant. I said, great, and he said, would you mind finishing it for me? And I said, it would be my pleasure, I'd love to finish it. And then the same thing happened with This Is Your Time, another brilliant song, which he came up with the music for, and I went and wrote the lyric. And the rest of it came from my studio.
Yeah, so when you bring the songs to the band, are they kind of already formulated, or do they have their colours and then the song takes shape? How does that work? I mean, do you demo stuff before you bring it to... No,
I demo it on something like that, like a little Olympus recorder. The band don't have the ability to listen to anything that I write until I go to the studio. It's just the way I operate. I don't send MP3s out. I don't demo anything. I've just got it all written out for me, and I present the songs to them right before we record.
Wow. You said that this album's got plenty of signature sounds and quirkiness.
Right.
Where does the quirkiness come from, or where do we
Well,
find that?
the quirkiness is the opening track. It's just a little different. It's just
machine gun.
Exactly. It's just something that is different to what we're used to, and that's another song that was going to be on a solo album. So,
oh really?
You know, and it's really hard to distinguish what a Glenn Hughes solo album would be like now, because 5 years ago it would have been more funky and groovy.
Yes.
But since Black Country has given me new life as a rocker, I've decided to stay in that realm.
Was that always in your mind when you joined the band, when you accepted the invitation from Kevin to become part of this? Or you and Joe initially?
No.
The feeling that you're going to be playing rock again?
Yeah, I mean, Kevin never suggested to me what the music should be. When I started to first write with Joe 3 years ago, we didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know if we were going to make a Memphis Horns album or an Americana album, or it wasn't blues.
All of which would have been possible.
It could have been any one of those three, but when we realised it was going to be a rock album, we went full on.
But Kevin did conceptualise the band as being a 21st century version of Deep Purple. I mean, do you think the band's actually grown beyond that already, organically?
No question about it.
Yeah.
I think, you know, as much as I really love the Deep Purple stuff I did, I think the stuff I'm doing with Black Country now is as relevant as what I was doing in Deep Purple.
And Trapeze.
Yeah, well,
there's a link back to those days, of course. Yeah. Okay, and you've also apparently locked horns with Kevin before on the previous 2 albums, but now what made this album different?
Only because they rush things.
Right.
You know, I like to savour the moment of nurturing in the studio, and Kevin is like chases and rushes, and I just
he likes to lay it down quickly.
And unfortunately, with Black Country 3, the Black Afterglow, it was recorded in 5 really insanely stressful days. But I decided before I got to the studio I was going to leave my stress at home and enjoy the. I remember I wrote most of it, so I knew that I knew what I was about to record. So it was a lot easier for me.
Right. Let's go to the album because we've got a limited amount of time. Was Afterglow naturally the big track on it? Anchored the album?
It was the last track I played the band.
Right.
Initially Joe thought the album would be called 3, and I said, well, wait till you hear Afterglow.
Yeah.
And then when I played him Afterglow, I said to Kevin and Joe, I said, guys, you know, really, there's some battles I've lost and some battles I'll win. I gotta have to win this one.
Yeah.
So you've trusted me with the songs. Please trust me with the title.
Yeah.
So hopefully the fans will understand why I chose Afterglow as a title.
There's several songs. I mean, that's a natural highlight for me. There's several others, and think about Midnight Sun. Was that something that the band had already laid down musically before you added the lyrics?
No, you know, yeah. I mean, yeah. That song was a jam. That's John's. If you were at the John Henry's when we first played that first gig.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
That in the afternoon of the gig, we were jamming something, and that jam Jason recorded, and that ended up being Midnight Sun.
Wow, so there's another spillover from the previous album.
Exactly.
And thinking about Afterglow still, I mean, as with the whole of the album, there's a quite loud divide, you know, the whole dynamics of the whole album. Is that the way you search out the drama in the song?
There's a lot of, on this album, excuse me, there's a lot of pushing and pulling and light and shade, and it's exactly what I told the press through Twitter, which is my amazing way to talk to people.
Address your fans,
I just wanted more drama. And when people think of drama, they might think of progressive rock or whatever. Not really. I think Led Zeppelin and The Who had a lot of drama in their music.
Quite so,
I wanted more acoustic guitar, I wanted more orchestration, and I wanted the 2 definitive Glenn Hughes style of vocals. I wanted the angelic, breathy Glenn, and I wanted the very aggressive, turbo, raw, organic Glenn.
Yeah.
And we have that.
And then do you rely on Kevin to give you the flow and the sequencing after you?
Yeah, I mean, I do trust him on that,
Because it certainly works very well on this album.
Let's give Kevin respect where it's due. He's a very good classic rock producer, probably the best of the genre.
And Common Man is almost 2 songs in one.
Yeah.
It moves from very precise rock to kind of funky jam situation.
Well, the end of it could have been off Stormbringer. It sounds like Deep Purple Mark III, 1975.
But how did you move from the beginning of the song to that kind of jam?
We jammed. The song is one take. The song was the last song we recorded on the album. It was just the last song we recorded. It was an afterthought. It was a song that almost didn't quite make the album. But once again, I knew Jason needed it to be on the album, so I did.
So did you, presumably.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I want people to know about Jason, I've said this in the bio. We all know about his, him and his dad being great drummers, but both the Bonhams are both amazing songwriters and arrangers. And Jason's pretty shy actually when it comes to his
his musical input's actually grown on this record.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really glad to bring that out.
Oh, that's great. And The Giver is your Robert Plant number? Somebody must have said that before.
No,
sure.
I asked Kevin when I sing that, captured in his resident evidence, The Seasons Come and Go. I said, does that sound like Zeppelin?
Oh yeah.
He said no, and I went, It does to me, and I said I don't want it to sound like it, but I guess it does. You know what it is? It sounds like it's from the Black Country.
Well, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
And that's one of the amazing things about the band, of course, is it's Anglo-American. You've somehow managed to cross that both the cultural divide and the generational divide.
Yeah, I just think it's that song, by the way, could be my favourite song.
Right.
Today. I mean, it'll change tomorrow. I know Pete loves Confessor Today, it's my least favourite track, but
I have to agree with you. I think it's the closest to metal on the album.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit more retro than the rest. But then everybody picks different things from a wide range of albums, such as this, I think, you know. And on The Circle, your kind of phrasing almost evokes the lyrics of The Dream.
yeah, I love it.
Is that what you intended?
I love it. I love. No, that's my favourite song. I've changed my mind.
Changed again. Cry Freedom is my favourite, not just because you swap vocals with Joe, but it's got a real impulsive drive to it.
It could have been ZZ Top on steroids.
It's certainly got a boogie element to it, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Does that stand out to you as well?
That song was another throwaway track. It was a very simple song to write.
You said that you mentioned Twitter there. You said on your Twitter account as regards the recording of this album, and I quote, "It was a life and earth experience for me." Why was that? What did you mean by that?
Well, everything on this album to me is life and death. It's my friend Joe Elliott, who's got this album last week, said to me, "It sounds usually like you are. It's life and death time for you." This album to me is a very personal album. It's very sensitive and very passionate, and it sounds like a man battling demons, you know, and it's just a real honest account of the way I feel.
And is that in parallel to the fact you've just had your book out, and presumably that was a bit of a letting go?
Well, everything's a letting go for me. I mean, the way I write songs, I don't write about anything other than the human condition, so if I write something, hopefully you'll understand, because it's probably about you as well.
And having completed this album, you're not actually going to gig in the foreseeable future, obviously, but does that mean you then move straight on to the next thing? And how do you go back to it if you do actually gig on?
Well, we aren't sure about shows at the moment.
Yeah.
We're waiting on announcements. I will be doing other things while Joe does Beth Hart and Jason does Led Zeppelin. You'll see me doing other things with other people, and we'll just keep moving forward.
Great album, great talking to you.
Thank
Pete
you.
Feenstra, Glenn
Thank you,
Hughes.
man.
Good afternoon.
Thanks, guys.